And welcome back. Thank you for joining us. Jay and Christopher here, once again bringing you some more on what to expect for this season coming up in the NHL. Last division to go here, the most important division in all of hockey, the Atlantic Division.
The toughest division in hockey as well, because holy shit, this division.
Yes, sir.
And we'll start out with Jay's, I'm not even going to say it jokingly, Jay's least favorite team. I was going to say Jay's favorite team, but the Boston Bruins.
I tried to play this straight this year. Even in our notes, I didn't call them the Bruins once. I don't refer to Brad Marchand as the rat-faced fuck a single time, and you won't hear me calling Brad Marchand a rat-faced fuck a single time in this video, no matter how much he proves year after year that he is a rat-faced fuck. You won't hear me call him a rat-faced fuck one time in this entire video.
No.
And if you do hear me call him a rat-faced fuck, I'll give you a free subscription here to our YouTube channel.
You heard it here first, folks. The record-breaking Boston Bruins, and then hilariously getting drowned out or getting knocked out of the first round by the Florida Panthers, and well, biases aside, they went for it last year, understandably so. I'll give them credit where credit's due, but goddamn, did they lose a lot.
Yeah, Tyler Bertuzzi's gone, Taylor Hall's gone, Nick Foligno's gone, Carrick's gone, Connor Clifton is gone, Hathaway, Kapanen, David Krejci, Nozick, Orlov, Strawman, Chris Wagner, and the biggest of all, somebody that has been so solid for them their entire career, I don't even give Patrice Bergeron shit, because he was a hell of a player. Was, because he's not there anymore.
Yeah, I shouldn't say surprisingly retired, but a little surprised by. I thought he'd go for one more year, especially the way they ended. But the hints were there.
He made it in. Yeah, he had it made up that he was done. I don't want to see him specifically go out on a bad note. I'd like to see him go out on a good note, just on a different team, because I don't want to ever see Boston anywhere near good notes. But
it's true. As far as players they brought in, they did bring in James Van Riemsdyk. That's a solid. They brought back Milan Lucic, who is a corpse of what he used to be.
Yeah, it's still rightfully home.
Yeah. Kevin Shattenkirk, Captain Kirk is there. Morgan Geekie, Jesper Boquist. Obviously, they still have Brad Marchand. They still have David Pastrnak, one of the best goal scorers in the league. Linus Ullmark and Jeremy Swayman are a good tandem, at least for now.
Are you murdering children?
No, my door's open and kids are outside.
Oh, okay.
I still think this has a potential to be a playoff team, but man, this is not. They're not anywhere near as good as they were last year.
They're not. They have big players: Hampus Lindholm, Charlie McAvoy, Pasternak. Obviously, going to be really pushing this team forward. Charlie Coyle, yes, Bovequist coming in. Pavel Zacha. Going to be good depth pieces to him, and I'm not sure where to put Linus Ullmark. Is he a type of player? Is he an impact player for him? Is he just a good solid goaltender for him? I don't know. He's kind of like a little bit of both and neither one, just floating there in the middle of that, which is weird to say for a Vezina goaltender, but he's rode that Vezina on the back of the team last year. This year, I think, is going to be a little bit more realistic on what to look for him. And again, he definitely not a bad goaltender. Definitely not even an average. He's above average goaltender. I don't know if I can confidently say that he's an elite goaltender.
I think one of the biggest disasters of that first round playoff series in Florida last year was Ullmark. Ullmark was hurt And they had a very good goaltender in Swayman. Swayman is not bad either, and they refused to go to Swayman. I get it. Everyone knew he was gonna be the Vezina Trophy winner at that point anyway. That was a mistake, and that's why I think they lost that series. But Jay, before we move on, what were you not? Remind me, what were you not gonna call Brad Marchand?
Who?
Brad Marchand. You said you weren't gonna call him something.
I don't know what we're talking about. Oh, that rat face fuck.
The rat face fuck. There you go. He's not gonna mention that, folks.
I'm not. Stupid rat face fuck.
All right, but that is the Boston Bruins. Now we go on to their one of their main rivals, the Montreal Canadiens, the worst team in the Atlantic, probably still. And
I don't count them out of the playoffs. I don't have them in. I don't count them out.
No.
And yeah, I think this is probably the worst team, and I still think they have a shot at making it.
Yeah, I think this is a team that could be a playoff contender in the other three divisions, probably realistically. But in terms of the Atlantic, I'm just not sure they're there yet, and that's may not be the worst thing for them right now. They got so many young guys, and
Slavkovsky, he's going to break out at some point and be a monster. Just going to be, you're going to have to deal with him at some point.
Yeah.
Kirby Dach's going to be the same. You're going to have to deal with him at some point. We're just waiting to see when. They did add a player, and this is one of the biggest moves in the entire offseason for any team. It's not being talked about. I think Alex Newhook can really step up. I think he has the potential to be an elite player in the league.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to have opportunities in Montreal that he was not going to get in Colorado. And that's the difference for me on whether or not this team actually does make the playoffs, is how much does he elevate the team.
That is fair. All right, as of right now, you and I don't have him very high on that playoff potential. You have him at 35. I have him even lower at 25, which I understand if you look at it in a one-to-one lens. It looks like I'm saying they're one of the worst teams in the league. I don't believe that. I just think the divisions is too hard.
No, I really don't have anybody high here. I think my highest is at a 65 for it. So even the team that I predicted win the whole thing, I still think has a fair shot that they won't make the playoffs just because of the division.
Mm-hmm.
That team for me, however, is not the Tampa Bay Lightning. I do have them at a 55 going in. They're going to just trickle off, trickle. I don't think this is the year for them yet. I still have them in. They added Connor Sheary, who's going to be a big addition. We talked earlier, Calvin DeHaan going out. Well, if he's going out of one team, he's going in another, and that team is the Tampa Bay Lightning. I think that's a huge addition for Tampa Bay.
Agreed. I think I do like a couple of their moves bring it in. Losing Pat Maroon, I think, hurts a little bit. He was their guy they needed absolutely when they absolutely had to in their Cups runs. Corey Perry was a good fourth line guy for them. This Corey Perry, I should say. Ross Colton could be a bit of a loss, and Ian Cole also. I agree. This is a team that's gonna trickle away. I have them higher than you in terms of playoffs. You have them at 55. I have them at 70. I still think they make the playoffs, but
you missed the biggest name for players who are out for them, Alex Killorn.
Yeah, I glossed right over that. That's another big name, and we're gonna keep seeing this. And if you've been listening to the rumors and stuff, and the tidbits and sources that's coming out, they might be losing a real big name here in the near future, within the next year or two as well. Their captain. We'll see what happens then with Steven Stamkos, but there's some rumblings there.
Well, there's also a lot of rumblings around another player, but that's because of the team that he plays for, the Toronto Maple Leafs, Austin Matthews. Well, he didn't move out this year. He got a pretty decent contract for him. I mean, the team's not a big fan of it, but for him, it's okay, I guess.
what, 4-year, $13.5 million a year.
That he's buying dinner for a while.
That he is. Toronto is the ultimate can you win with high priced players team in the league, and well, they're going headstrong into it now. I do like some of the moves they made for depth here. They brought in Ryan Reeves. I think that's actually pretty big for them. Tyler Bertuzzi and Max Domi as well, I think, are solid additions to that bottom six that they desperately needed. They did lose some. They did lose some pieces, depending on how you feel about like a Michael Bunting, Zach Aston-Reese, Noah Acciari, Alex Kerfoot, Ryan O'Reilly, and Luke Shen. I think are going to be missed on that team as well.
Player love him or hate him, the biggest impact on the team in winning here, I believe, is going to be Michael Bunting. He gives you space out there and he gets to dirty areas, but they do have that with Max Domi and Tyler Bertuzzi coming in, and Ryan Reeves is a big boy. So, I mean, they have other pieces, but you keep those in and add Michael Bunting into that, and they're nasty to play against. Nasty to play against with all the skill in the world, too.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably why you got them at an 80. I have them at a 65. And just where do they go and can they win in the playoffs? And for me, I don't care. I'm not that big on championships. This has been hard to say here. It's been one of the most exciting teams to watch for the past half a dozen years.
I absolutely agree, and they got a couple of little nice guys coming in. Lindgren, he's played with them. He's all right. Matthew Knies really performed in the playoffs, one of the few that actually did perform. And Nick Robertson's a nice piece coming up as well. I like him higher than you because despite everything that goes on with this team off the ice noise, Sheldon Keefe's like the biggest is the all-time leader in point percentage right now for coaches going over like 200 or 250 games. This team performed in the regular season. They're going to make the playoffs. It's all.
Yeah, you say you have them a bit higher than me. We'll see in our standings predictions.
Well, I meant in terms of percentages.
We'll see.
All right.
And the Florida Panthers, next thing we're talking about is another Pittsburgh Penguins on everyone in and out, revolving door here. They kept their core intact with Barkov, Tkachuk, Aaron Ekblad, Sam Reiner, Anton Lundell, Rasmus Asplund, Brandon Montour. So, yeah, that's a lot of players, but they lost Duclair, Vieto, Gudis, Hornquist, Lyon, Eric Stahl, Mark Stahl, Colin White. They brought in Kulikov, OEL, Stolars, Evan Rodriguez, just a fast little fucker.
Mm-hmm.
Alex True, Rasmus Asplund. Oh, yeah, I already mentioned that earlier. But anyway, it's just a lot of moves. Especially for a team that was just in the finals.
Yeah.
And a team that was just in the finals, they got in by 1 point last year. And this year I got them at another coin flip.
Yeah, I have them slightly less than the coin flip at 45. This team goes as their goaltending goes. We saw that again. They have great pieces, a great talent, as you mentioned. Bobrovsky was unbelievable in the playoffs last year until he got to about the finals. Spencer Knight's coming back from his sabbatical they had to deal with, I think, for OCD, I think I actually read. So it's nice to see him back. He's a good young goaltender.
Bobrovsky, I've never been too high on Bobrovsky, even his Vezina years, because he's too damn streaky. And he held the streak for a while last year. Does that mean he's going to lose it for this entire year? Oh, we're about to find out.
Well, if he's even 75% of what he was in the playoffs and Spencer Knight comes in and plays well, they got a good tandem there, I would say. But it's going to come down to that for them. And again, it's important to note that, yes, they made the finals. It was unbelievable. They only made the playoffs by 1 point. They were that close to not making it. Are they that much better than they were last year?
Well, a team that is that much better than they were last year, the Detroit Red Wings. They added a huge piece in Kailer Yamamoto, but then they turned around and they lost a huge piece in Kailer Yamamoto. They brought in Alex DeBrincat, but they lost Dominic Kubalik to get it. Um, Daniel Sprong, talked about him a couple videos ago. I've been big on Sprong for a while. He's going to have an opportunity here in Detroit, a lot like he did out in Seattle, and I really thought he took advantage of that. And will he continue to grow? Shane Gostisbehere is pulling it up here. Was last year his resurgence going to continue, or is he going to melt back down? So a few questions here. Dylan Larkin, solid player for him. DeBrincat should bring in a lot of goals. Moritz Seider is a hell of a defenseman. That was such a great draft. Like, so many head scratches when they drafted him. Well done.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, well done with him. JT Compher, Andrew Kopp, Oli Mata. No, I know not too many people are big fans of Oli Mata.
You are
a fan of him.
This team is interesting because they made a lot of moves. A little, not the Brinkcast, not surprising, but some of the moves they made were a little surprising, and I'm starting to wonder because they haven't made the playoffs in 7 years. Just remember they went like 20-some straight, and it was a big deal. Now they've missed for 7. And Yadrin was supposed to come in, change things around. I know he's still he's like 3-4 years on the job now. I'm wondering if he's feeling some heat from ownership this year because he made a lot of moves I was kind of surprised by.
I think he's safe. I think the team is moving in the right direction. I don't see him going anywhere. If they fall stagnant for 3 years in a row, maybe we start talking, but I got them at 3 years safe. But as far as whether or not they're going to make it this year, you got them at a 30. I got them at a 35.
Yep, improved, not there yet.
And the Ottawa Senators, I also have them at a 35. You're a little higher on them with a 40, but keeping with the DeBrincat and Kubalik, there's your trade right there. But they also brought in Jonas Korpisalo. I talked about him when LA lost him. And it's a great signing for him. Vladimir Tarasenko. The Tarasenko show is fuck. Why do you go here? Why?
Damn it.
But he is here, and he's going to make the team better. An immediate impact player for him. Brady Tkachuk is just a tough, physical, skilled player.
He's a Tkachuk.
Stützle is really coming around to being an absolute star in the league. Jake Sanderson is my big question mark on when is he going to step up, because he's going to be a hell of a defenseman for him. I don't see there being enough for them here yet. They're moving in the right direction, and they're not a team to sleep on.
No, they're not. They're going to be a tough out no matter who they play. They're going to be kind of fun and exciting. They have new ownership. This team's moving in the right direction. Seems like the entire division is moving in the right direction. Outside, maybe like Tampa Bay is the only team that's in Boston. They're the ones that are moving back. So it's going to be fun seeing Tampa Bay and Boston 7th and 8th.
Now, another team that's moving in the right direction is the final team. Final up here for the NHL, the Buffalo Sabres. I'm really trying to, but I'm excited.
I mean, it's okay to be excited. Obviously, when you're as a man that's a fan of two perennially bad teams in sports, the Jacksonville Jaguars and Buffalo Sabres, it's very easy to not let hope come in because you're always worried for the other shoe to drop. But the Sabres last year missed the playoffs by 1 point. even after having a really terrible stretch in March. They have some awesome young pieces coming in, and they still are young as fuck. Tage Thompson is on another level now. Jeff Skinner has revitalized his career, almost making himself worth that giant contract. Not there, but almost. They didn't do a whole lot, but I think they did one big move that I absolutely love. Who was that, Jay?
They did two okay moves. Connor Clifton, who was a six-man in Boston, he's going to come in. Ideally, he's going to be on our bottom pairing in Buffalo. But man, what a solid bottom pairing. That's not an insult on him. But I think he can battle for the middle pairing, just because I think we have a little bit of room to go. Eric Johnson, I love Eric Johnson.
Eric by Johnson.
We've been fans of this guy since he entered the league in Colorado. This is a player. I didn't think we'd get an Eric Johnson in Buffalo at any time. So it's just fun having him in. This is, for me, not to the same level as, but similar to when we brought in Teppo Numminen. Mm-hmm. Teppo Numminen is just one of my favorite defensemen. So just to have him on the team at all, it's just fun.
It is, but even on a hockey level, last year the defense was so stupidly young. It was unbelievable. We talked about it. It was crazy. It's like what we do in the NHL franchise EA game, and they love this like, fuck it, we're gonna do it ourselves, and we were like, that's not a good idea. And
he brings in so much leadership. So much. He's been around the league for 17 years.
A long time. By the way, I will correct you slightly. You said he came in the league with Colorado. He came in the league with St. Louis.
St. Louis, yes.
But it wasn't there for overly long. And then Colorado, where he made his name, because he was hated in St. Louis for some fucking reason. I do love the Eric Johnson sighting. Again, I don't know if it's a game breaker, but they needed a veteran presence back there, and they couldn't ask for a better one than a Stanley Cup winning great player.
Not just Stanley Cup winning, a former first overall. So we may have a couple defensemen that can relate to that. I don't know.
Only two.
Oh yeah, okay. And the contract negotiations still going underway for Dahlin and Power, and which one of those is going to sign first, and where are those going to be at? I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that we get them both locked up long term, and if we can do so for $17 million for the two of them, I'm going to be pretty fucking happy about it.
Me too, but I don't think it's going to happen.
The longer this is going on, the less likely it seems like that's going to be able to get done. But you talked about the young players coming in. Rasmus Dahlin, such a seasoned veteran on this team. He's 26.
Yeah, he's still young as fuck.
Owen Power just finishing up his first full season in Buffalo, had a hell of a season. He was, I think he finished third in the Calder votes.
I believe so, yes.
It's a hell of a season there for him. First overall pick, and he's going to continue to develop into just a monster. Two young goaltenders, which is the big question mark right now on what's going to happen here. While I'm a little nervous for it, at the same time, I'm excited for it. And I do have a little bit of confidence in going with the younger group here as a tandem. Individually, either one, and we throw a scrub in there as the backup, I'm really nervous. But having both of them, if one's struggling, the other, I'm hoping can step in. I think Devin's going to be the starter. But Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen has been playing so well the past few seasons, and that's going to continue here. We have Matt Savoy coming in, Yuri Kulich, Jack Quinn. We talked Connor Clifton, JJ Turka, Zach Benson, Ryan Johnson, Noah Ostlund, Isaiah Rosen, Polipov coming in. Just so many young pieces.
Does it feel like with all these young pieces, and I mean, there's going to be a logjam at some point for playing time, obviously.
We're kind of already there. We're seeing the starts of that logjam forming this year.
Yes. One thing before I finish that thought, Matthias Samuelsson, we saw the difference he makes when he doesn't play last year when he was injured. Man, this team is a lot better with him in.
No, he is one of the most important pieces on this team. He is not a name that league-wide fans are going to be familiar with. But in Buffalo, we recognize you, Samuelsson. Thank you for being here. Thank you for what you do, and I look forward to watching you do it some more.
Yeah, we got you underpaid, but
yeah.
But what finishing my thought, this feels like with all these prospects, there's got to be something big in terms of a trade at some point, right? We can't just keep them all. It's impossible.
There's so many trades circling rumors with Buffalo right now, whether it's goaltenders with John Gibson or Hellebuck, and now we got players like Trevor Zegras coming into play. It's just we have so many pieces that those trades are naturally going to be there because of that, because it makes sense basically for everybody involved for there to be something that happens.
Yeah.
I don't think Kevin Adams should feel any kind of pressure to make a move.
No, absolutely not.
But I feel that he should be relaxed enough that if the right move is there, you have the space to pull the trigger on something. You don't have to force anything. The closest we have to having to force something is Olofsson, just because he's getting buried right now in the depth chart. He's a 35 goal scorer.
Yeah,
you can count on him for that just about every year. Yeah. 35 goals. He's gonna get buried in there. He's only a sniper. He doesn't have a lot. He reminds me a lot of Ales Kotelik from back in the day with Buffalo. Hell, for the player that he is, he's phenomenal at it. But we have so many guys there on the power play that we almost don't have room for him on there. We don't have room for him throughout our lineup unless we have injuries onto the team. Oh, wait, we do have one. Jack Quinn is out. Okay, so Olsen's probably safe to the trade deadline?
Maybe. Okay. Matthew Savoy is also injured right now as well. I don't know how long-term that is, but...
Yeah, I know there's a lot of talks, a lot of people excited for him to jump into the lineup. I don't see him in the lineup this year, though. But there's a team out there for Victor Olofsson to absolutely thrive in. So to make a deal that makes sense for Buffalo and makes sense for the other team and makes sense for Victor Olofsson, wish him all the best with that. But again, it's just it's a logjam. It's a logjam right now.
Absolutely.
And another player that I'm not looking forward and going, hey, we need to move this guy. I want to fuck out of town. Casey Middlestat is really coming into his own right now. He had a really good season last year. Did he have 55 points last year?
That is a good question. Hey, hi, Jet. How are you? Don't rip my cord, please. Don't rip my cord. Let me take a quick peek. We're gonna keep talking. I'm gonna pet my kitty. He had 59 points, 15 goals,
59 points. That is the quietest 59-point season by anybody.
Yeah.
We don't have to go back that far, and 59 points is leading the Buffalo Sabres in points. And that doesn't crack our top 5. I don't think he cracked the top 6 in points for us.
No. And he did mostly on the third line.
Yeah. He has the potential to be an impact player for some team that needs him, and he's just kind of getting buried right now. If he kind of stays buried and he's going to be playing like he did last year on the third line for us, Yes, thank you.
Yeah, I agree. Um,
But
one,
if one of these players with him or Victor Olofsson that can be impact players somewhere else can really solidify that top four defense for us, I think that's the only thing that's really needed.
yeah.
I don't even know if needed is the right word. That seems a little too strong um, to really elevate us to what actual contenders.
I agree. I will say, not to rain on the parade a bit here, but I will say face-offs as well, because they were awful. And Tage Thompson, as great as a center as he is offensively, holy shit, is he just as bad in the face-off circle.
Oh, Tage Thompson, I love you, you big pussy, but we're in a fucking face-off.
Yeah, and that's kind of a problem throughout the lineup as well.
So what are we looking at for our Atlantic Division standings predictions?
Oh, wouldn't you want to know?
I would.
All right,
That's why we all came here.
Well, interestingly enough, we have the same division champion. We both think Toronto's going to win this division. I
told you you were higher on them. I put that stupid team up there.
You are higher on. We have Buffalo and Tampa Bay flipped. I have them at second. You have them at third. You have Buffalo.
Tampa Bay, that is.
Yes. What did I say?
You put both teams there.
Yeah, Tampa. I have Buffalo third. You have them second. Tampa. I have second. You have third. We both have Boston in four, and we're identical. 4 through 8. Boston, Florida, Ottawa, Detroit, Montreal.
So we have second and third place split, is what you're saying.
Yes. Long-winded answer. Yes, because I didn't look ahead as I was reading.
But the important part there is we both have Buffalo in the playoffs.
And comfortably.
And you should be a little ashamed of yourself in third.
I'm giving Tampa Bay more credit than they probably deserve.
They finished third last year, didn't they?
They did.
You got them improving? Yeah. I got them stepping back, but the problem is the other team that I have that would be with them is also stepping back, so they're just stepping back together.
Indeed. All right. Well, Jay, oh my God, Jet.
You're struggling over there. Our video content's done. We might as well say goodbye to everybody.
Well, I think we should make a Stanley Cup prediction.
Oh, Stanley Cup prediction. Buffalo in 16 straight games.
16 straight. Yes, we'll go with it.
It's kind of weird doing that because we're not looking at matchups there. The top teams that we have, I think we agree on all of our top teams. Toronto in the Atlantic.
Yep.
Central, we both have Colorado. Metro, we both have the Devils.
I think Pacific's the only one we're different in.
Pacific, we're different on. I had Edmonton, you had Vegas. I think this year is very similar of my prediction from last year, which did not come true.
No.
But I think I'm very similar at Edmonton and New Jersey. I think are the two best teams in each, the East and West this year.
That is a very good prediction. I will agree with Edmonton. I think Edmonton's got. This feels like their year. It just does. What that means going forward, I don't know. I struggle in the East because I want to pick Toronto because Toronto feels like the best team in the East to me overall. But New Jersey's really good too, and there's an argument to be made that New Jersey's better. It's between them two for me as well. Just for contrarian's sake, I'm gonna go Edmonton, Toronto, and gonna be wrong.
That was my prediction last year.
It was your prediction last year. So we will see.
So my backup prediction is a 99 rematch, Buffalo and Dallas.
Oh, that'd be a fun one. It'd be weird being on the other side for once.
Yeah, fuck those Stars.
How was it that?
I don't care if they're Southern or Northern.
FYI for people out there, I was more Mike Bonanno, but
Yeah, you fuck.
Jay still has PTSD from the '99 Stanley Cup Finals. Nonetheless,
It was no goal.
it was.
There's no goal. Deuces.